Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome to the third part of my 7 Days to Die Let's Play series. In this series we will be attempting to survive on the Survivalist difficulty. That is the second highest difficulty in the game, and it's definitely going to be a challenge for everyone, including me. So let's hopefully see if we can survive another day. Now, in the last episode, for those who may not have watched, I began to try and build a base. But due to the fact that I was trying to build out of cobblestone, I didn't have enough cobble to build the base up. So we actually retreated to the nearby mine, which turned out to be a very smart move because I've got lots of clay and a little bit of stone. We're going to use those to build up some flagstone, which is basically stone blocks. And those blocks are really, really important, because we can actually upgrade those all the way to concrete and beyond. They're, in my opinion, the most versatile building block, and definitely the one we'll want to be building our base out of. I'm going to go for a simple one-story room, just a small base, a little bit bigger than a hut. And we're going to go with a simple build, hopefully something that we can expand on, something we can reinforce as the days go by. And hopefully you'll be able to pick up a few tips and tricks. For those who've been watching the channel for a while, you probably watched my tutorials and you know the sort of build that I go for. I am unfortunately a little bit predictable. I don't tend to go for very dramatic builds. No, I don't do mega builds. And I probably will in a future series, but I tend to try and keep things very utilitarian, very simple. And I try and keep things expandable as well. So I will build my bases with utility in mind rather than visual aesthetics. I want a base that I can build. It's modular. It has every room has a purpose, because in this game, especially on this difficulty, you don't really have the time or the energy to waste on making a base look pretty. At least not in the early stages of the game. Now, one thing that I do want to mention, I will be putting up a notice board in my base. Once I decide on the name for my base, of course I always name all my bases. If you guys want to respond with a comment on the video, I'll actually add your name on my notice board or my shout out board to my loyal subscribers. All you have to do is leave me your name in the comments and I'll add you on the board. So a variation of what people do on Twitch. I'm not a cam streamer, but if you do want to get your name on that board, leave me a comment with your name and I'll chuck you on there once we actually have a base to put a board in. So what we're going to do today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build this base up, trying to grab this sleeping bag. This is another reason why I always like to have wooden floors. When things are on dirt, they're very hard to grab, and they do sometimes. Items don't work properly when they're on dirt ground. So, as you can see. But we're going to put up with this for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to build some flagstone. 150 flagstone, that's definitely going to be enough for now. Our excess stone and clay is going to go in there. We will eat one piece of meat. And we're just going to chuck all of our excess items that we don't need anymore into our storage chest. We are going to leave our forge off for the moment, because in the previous episode I explained the concept of heat and the heat map in the game. Leaving the forge on for extended periods of time is risky because it will attract zombies. So we only want to leave the forge on when we absolutely have to. We're going to fill up our tin can. Now, one of the things we'll be able to do once we build the forge is make ourselves, oh that's good, painkillers in case we get hurt. Once we build the forge up, we'll be able to make ourselves a cooking pot. And that means we'll be able to boil water in jars. So these jars here we've got, we will be able to fill those up. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to cook this murky water Just need to keep an eye out though. Okay. Because we always want to make sure we've got at least one tin of water with us. Water gives us a stamina boost, so we can also use that as a means of getting away. There we go. So we'll chuck those first aid bandages. Actually, we'll take the bandages and leave the painkillers. Chuck some feathers away, extra cobblestone. We'll want to keep those tools. Land claim block. We will put that block down later on. All right, good. Okay, so what we want to do is, while our flagstone builds, we want to cut down as much wood as we can. So we're going to do that now. Now the reason why we need lots of wood is there's two reasons. One, I'm going to build the roof out of wood in my base. And two, I want to build some spikes around the base for a little bit of defense. Wood spikes are very cheap. They're easy to make. We're going to rip out some now. First, we're going to make some frames. We want about 100 of these. And we want spikes as well. These are wood spikes here. They only cost 20 wood. But as you can see, wood can be a bit of a grind getting wood. So I'm probably going to try and do a little bit of gathering off screen. But for now, we're gonna go for a little bit of a wander. And hopefully on our travels we'll be able to find a deer or a pig or some means of getting some food. We are running a little bit low on food. Now I do have these berries, these snow berries. They are a little bit dangerous. If you eat too many, you'll actually get sick. So I'm just going to try and eat these just enough to keep myself from starving. They should keep me going through the rest of the day. And then hopefully in the next episode, if we're able to get the base build complete, and we have somewhere to stow our belongings, we'll go on a hunting trip. We're going to go and we're going to try and get ourselves some deer. So there's really not much here. We're going to head up over the hill. This looks like potentially another mine. Yes, it is. Very nice. Okay. Now what we might do is, while I'm thinking about it, we might be able to get... Oh, no, that's a bunker. We're not messing with the bunker. I was going to try and get some mushrooms and grow some mushrooms underground. Mushrooms are really cool, but they do take a ridiculously long amount of time to grow. So we're not going to mess with mushrooms for now. Well, that sounds like a dog. It is. It's a wolf. We're going to try and take him out because I need meat. We'll see. And if things go bad, I can always use the barbed wire. Now this he's pretty tough, but this is a really good way. We aim slightly above the wolf's head. That was in the head then. Now it looks like he's actually going to go for us. We're going to get the... Yeah, he wasn't fooled by the zombie. Going to drop this fence. He's stuck in the fence. Gives us a chance to get away clean. And hopefully get another hit on him. So hopefully he doesn't go for us. No, he doesn't. He's actually going to go for that zombie, so that's fine. There we go, we got him. So what we're going to do is we're going to rip out our knife. I don't recommend fighting wolves, but if you're very low on health, you've got to do what you can do. And hopefully he's going to provide us with a bit of meat. Go away. Go. Yeah, so wolves are very tough, as you can see. He gave us quite a challenge. So I'm hoping to get at least 4 pieces of meat out of him. I don't know if I'll be able to get that many. Okay, 3 pieces. That's not too bad. We did use about eight or 9 arrows to take him out. But arrows are reasonably easy to come by. There's a cave there. Okay, it's underwater. So yeah, underwater caves, they tend to be more trouble than they're worth. So we're going to keep moving. I wanted to find some quick sources of food, some sheep. I always say sheep in this game. I don't know what it is about sheep. There are no sheep in 7 Days to Die. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so there's no animals nearby. We'll just have to make do with what we've got. That's all right. Let's just build. Let's build, and we'll worry about getting some food in the next episode. I think if I'm smart, I'll be able to get by with what I've got. So we're going to cut down a heap of trees. So yeah, as I mentioned, the reason why we need so much wood is we're going to make the wooden spikes, and the wooden spikes are going to be a really good deterrent against zombies coming into the base. Waiting for my stamina to recharge again. Now, I do try and make these episodes interesting, but I didn't want this episode just be me smashing a tree with an axe for half an hour. But this is part of the base build process. This is part of it. And everyone who watches the channel is always interested in my base build videos. In fact, they're the most watched. So what some people complain about and find boring is actually something that a lot of other people enjoy and actually are genuinely interested in. So yeah, it is what it is. It's really up to you guys. If you're finding that you're not enjoying it, if you're finding that you want me to do just videos of me raiding and doing horde nights, and there will be horde night videos, don't worry. Let me know, but this is part of building a base, and you are going to have these boring sections where you're just gathering resources. I do most of my resource gathering off screen. All of the cobblestone I gathered, all of the stone I gathered, largely been off screen. But sometimes, especially in cases like this, it's really good to show you what's involved, how to actually gather the resources without getting yourself killed. We're also going to need some rock. Now over there we've got a military base, but I'm not going to tangle with those because sometimes they've got soldiers in them, and the soldiers wear military armor, and they're going to absolutely laugh at my wooden club. As you can see here, very, very weak. It's not really going to do a lot of damage at all to a zombie, especially not one of the bigger ones. Now our stamina is, yeah, it's getting a little high, so I want to try and make a poncho. Leather poncho. What do we need for that? 20 leather. Okay. Need a hell of a lot more than what I've got. So a poncho is basically just a leather. Think of it like a leather cape. You just pop it over yourself, and it will reduce the amount of heat you put out. And it's an essential piece of kit in the most of the biomes where it's a little bit hot. We're actually in a pretty temperate biome here in the woods, but even in the woods it can be quite. You can get hot. You can get quite hot. It can also get cold during the winter, so you want to try and make sure you've got the right clothes for every occasion. Don't ever get caught without some clothes that can reduce your heat level. Likewise, if you're in the desert, if you want to stay in the desert for any extended periods of time, you want to make sure you've got the right clothes, or you're going to overheat. You're going to die from heat stroke, and it's not a fun way to die, guarantee you. Okay, so we're doing good. We now have 150 flagstone. We're now building our wooden frames, and then next we're going to have our spikes. Only 7 though, or 9. We need more spikes. And then cut down a lot more wood. I just want to grab a little bit of metal and a little bit of stone. I'm going to make some more arrows. But the biggest challenge for me at the moment it's my stamina. I wonder if I can upgrade that. Sexual Tyrannosaurus. I can. Beautiful. Can I get minus 69er? No, I need mining tools of 20. That's okay. The Sexual Tyrannosaurus perk will definitely help my stamina to recharge a lot faster. And that's generally one of the first ones that I'll max out. The faster we can mine, or the faster we can get our stamina back, the longer we can mine for. Gonna eat some of these berries. I'm gonna repair this iron pickaxe, and we'll go and cut some more trees down because we absolutely need some more trees. Whoop! I'm not going to tangle with you. So what I tend to favour the pine trees. I think it's just an aesthetic choice. I like the look of the pine trees. See if we can kill her with a tree. Nah. Interesting fact, you can actually kill a zombie by cutting a tree down and having it hit him. It's pretty hard to pull off, but when you actually get it, it is the most satisfying thing ever. Absolutely love doing it. I'll often lure zombies to trees, cut them down, try and drop a tree on them. I know, I'm a small petty man, but what can I say? Small petty goat. I don't think there's any zombies close enough to hear me chopping this tree. I think there's one over the hill there. Let's see if we can drop this on her head. Now, one of the good things about chopping down these trees, of course, is we get these seeds. The seeds will let me plant more of these trees, so I want to try and grab the seeds for the trees that I want. Now, all trees functionally are the same. It's more of just a choice, an aesthetic choice on what you want for a tree. They all give the universal wood resource. There's no real difference between them apart from the way they look. Some trees obviously can grow larger than others, but yeah, they're all very much the same. These little trees here are easy to cut down. The bigger the tree, the more wood that you'll get out of it, but also the longer it'll take to cut down. So I've got 11 pine seeds. We'll plant those nearby. Now, another really good pro tip for those who have slower computers. My old computer was a complete potato, and the main reason why I didn't complete the 7 Days to Die tutorials was because they released a new version, Alpha 15, and the system requirements were really high. And one of the things that my computer would really struggle with was trees. So for some reason, when you plant a lot of trees in an area, it'll actually make the game perform very slowly. So if you find that you're having performance problems, try and plant your trees far away from your base. Having a large amount of trees, and it seems to be only for player-created trees, will slow the game down quite dramatically, even with newer computers. I tend to try not to have any more than 20 trees planted at a time. That seems to be the magic number. Go. Alright, so we're looking good. We should make some more spikes. So the magic number for spikes is about 50. So unfortunately we're going to have to keep chopping. Keep chopping away. So again, my apologies if this is boring. But this is how we're going to get a base going. And of course I can change things up and only do videos with base raids, but I think a base build video is worth doing. The first episode, they're boring. The first few days of this game, you're just going to be running around gathering resources. Once you get a base build up and you've got some storage and you've got somewhere where you can drop your stuff and do a bit of cooking and crafting, that's when the game gets really interesting, because that's when you can go out and start searching towns, looting. I try not to do that for at least the first few days until I've got a base ready to go. Go. Right, so what do we got here? We've got 147 wood. Unfortunately, yeah, we are going to be doing a lot of wood cutting today. But hopefully this will be the first and last time that you'll see me cutting wood on screen. I'll revert to doing all of this off screen at a later date. But unfortunately, I had to actually gather all this wood to build my base, and I couldn't wait another day because I have nowhere to actually store any of my stuff. So see it. We'll get a little bit more, and then I think we'll just have to deal with what we've got. So yeah, this is a fairly boring part of the game, just gathering. And I wish there was a better way to gather wood. It seems that the fun pimps may have overcorrected. They made gathering resources a lot more difficult, a lot more lengthy, and it feels almost unfair at the moment how long it takes to gather resources, especially wood. It's almost you can gather cobblestone faster than you can gather wood. There's actually very little point in building a base with wood now. In fact, I don't build bases with wood in it. I'll build a wooden floor, or maybe a ceiling, but I won't build with wood. It just takes too long to gather it, and you're better off just using it for traps, to be honest. So we've got we're getting there. Probably need about 500 or 600 wood, but I'm not going to bore you guys. I'm going to head back and we're going to start the base build after I've cut down this tree. We will need to create a full ring of spikes around our base. So yeah, I guess let me know how you think the series is going so far. This series was actually one that was requested by a lot of people. People have been asking me to go back and play 7 Days to Die, and as I said, the only reason why I haven't done it is because my computer couldn't run it until now. So I've actually got a fairly decent rig, not too bad. It's a lot faster than my old PC. The recording quality should be somewhat better. I know the sound quality is a lot better. Got some new sound software. Got some new recording software. So the quality of the stream should be a lot better. Let's grab this pine tree while we're here. And then what we'll do is we'll plant these, and in a couple of days these will be ready, and then off screen I can start harvesting more wood. We're going to try and build some log spikes as well. Go. Alright, so that should do for now. 600 wood. Now we don't have to fill all of this in during the night. We can just pop the frames down. You can walk on them without filling the frames. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you when I start the build. Once you've actually got all the materials you need, the build's pretty quick. It's just pretty much dropping the blocks where you need them. So we've already started. We've got a little bit of a wall here. We're going to get out our 152 flagstone. And I believe I mentioned this previously. 8 by 8 is the size I like to have my bases. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now if you do drop this in the wrong spot, you can't pick it up again. There we go. So you want to try and make sure you've got everything spot on. There we go. Underneath, we have a bit of support there. And we want to try and get in under there and make sure we've got, there we go. So yeah, you want to try and build on flat land. This wasn't perfect, but it was the best I could do. Go. There we go. So we will flatten this land out. I'll have to dig down and I'll have to properly fill this in. But for a very simple starter base, this will do. Now, one thing when you're building, you always want to make sure that you're keeping your ears out for a horde. Zombie hordes can come during the day. Obviously, at night they're a lot more dangerous, but they can be troublesome during the day. If they came here, I don't really have any defenses, so they're going to actually do a bit of damage to my base. I can hear. Speaking of which, I can hear a horde coming now. That's just the one. That's okay. Ah, no, there is a horde. There you go. I can see him up the hill. So I'm going to take this chick out because I'm an equal opportunity zombie killer. I believe in equal opportunity zombie murder. Okay, so there. Oh, got a little bit of tuna. That's great. So is that horde coming this way? Now, it looks like they're going the opposite direction. Oh, well, that's good. It looks like we just had that one straggler happen to find me, but that's fine because she actually dropped 2 tins of tuna, which we will definitely need. So we'll chuck down. What we're going to do now is we've got our frame here. 1, 2. Oh, hello. Looks like we attracted some attention. That's fine. Oops. So we better make ourselves another club because we went and busted our club on her head. Oh, and some water. So that was quite good. She got us some food and some water. So what I was trying to say before we were rudely interrupted, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 out. And if you don't know what I'm doing, it'll all make sense in a moment. We're basically making a staircase. Like so. Very rough, but as you can see, we'll be able to jump in there. The zombies themselves will not be able to jump in. I'm probably only going to have to get rid of that guy. As you can see, the zombie hordes, they'll usually turn up at least once a day. And if you're lucky, they'll pass by you. Sometimes the horde will see you, and then you're going to have to make short work of them, as we've got here. We are going to have to kill these guys. They're a little bit close for comfort. So that's fine. That's what the club's for. Now, some of these bigger guys are going to take a few hits. So this guy, I might need to use the bow and arrow. The main advantage of the club is that I can keep just outside of his reach. And because we're playing on such a high difficulty, obviously he's going to take quite a few hits to go down. So I'm going to have to take this guy out as well. He's a little too close. Now this is good because they're actually dropping some food. And with us being so very low on food at the moment, definitely something we need. Some of these bigger zombies will often drop either tin cans of food, or he's dropped something very, very, very valuable. That's a tin of honey, 2 tins of honey. What can we drop in exchange for that? Our rotten food, rotten sandwich. Yeah, we won't eat that. Rotten sandwiches can be eaten, but you run the risk of getting sick, and that will lower your wellness. And we'll talk about wellness a little later. That's probably a subject of a tutorial by itself. Now, he's dropped something very useful. That's honey. And for those who don't know, honey is an antibiotic. And antibiotics in this game, very, very good to have. Because you can get infected by the zombie virus. And if you get an infection, eventually you will die and turn into a zombie. So, yeah, we definitely don't want that happening. Alright, oh, whoops. We're going to drop that tin can. We don't want that. Let's chuck some of our stuff away. And we want to keep that empty can. We want to eat this tuna. Because that's going to get us an empty can as well. I'm going to keep that spare tin of tuna. And we're gonna fill up these tins later on. Should have some more here. Yeah, we've got 3 tins of water. Beautiful. Alright, so now we've got a little bit of a base going. We can turn this on. And we can load this up with iron. And this will allow us to build ourselves very important to build ourselves some more strips, metal forged iron strips. And we'll be able to build a gardening hoe. And the gardening hoe will let us do a little bit of gardening, farming, plant some crops. And with us being so desperately short on food at the moment, that's going to be very important. Let's go with the stone. Okay. So what we'll do next is we're not going to fill it in yet, but we are going to pop these down. Now we can walk on these frames. We can actually fill the frame up or reinforce the frame to make it a block that you can't move. I'll show you what I mean. You can pick these frames up like so, or you can put them down, and then at the cost of a bit of wood, using a stone axe or a wrench or a hammer, any of the building tools, you fill that in, and that's actually now a filled block. Now that does cost a little bit of wood, and unfortunately I don't have the sort of wood we need to fill all of this in yet. I do have some spikes though. I'm going to make some more spikes. We want about, let's make another 15 of those. That's going to use half my wood. There we go. Now, if you notice I'm a little bit hot, I'm overheating. So we are going to need to make ourselves a poncho to try and keep ourselves from getting too hot. We can also, another trick we can do is stay under cover. Staying under this cover will actually allow us to cool down because we're actually out of the sun. Getting close to a forge or something along those lines will make us hot again. Now, I could make a bucket from all this, but I'm thinking a hoe is probably a better idea. So gardening hoe, we're going to need 16, so that's fine. We should definitely have enough. I can hear there's a zombie outside. If I'm quiet, he's going to keep going on his way. Oh, no, he has seen me. That's okay. Now, we don't have a hell of a lot of healing supplies, so I don't want to get hit if I can avoid it. Okay, some boots. That'll be handy. And there's a couple of reasons I'm cutting these bodies up. The first is getting some fat, zombie fat or animal fat. Will allow you to make candles. That we can use that to light up our base. And also having zombie corpses around will actually be a bad thing for us because it'll attract more zombies. Raise your heat level in an area. There we go. 2 animal fat. Make those into candles, light up our base. Empty up our resources now. Honey, we'll keep 1 jar on us in case we do get infected. Chuck those in. Flagstone. We will use the remaining flagstone for something. And then we're going to put down our iron blocks. Okay, looking good. Alright, so what we're going to do here, we've got the blocks here. Pop these down. The main goal of this, of course, is to give us some natural cover. During the night, if I do get attacked by zombies, I'll be able to duck behind this like so. And they'll hopefully run on their way. They won't know I'm here. And I'll be able to stay here in relative safety. Now, if we get some spider zombies, or if I don't notice them and make a little bit too much noise, that's going to be another problem. And we're going to fix that problem by adding some wooden spikes. So as you can see, I don't have enough to completely build this. And I certainly don't have enough to upgrade these to cobblestone blocks. So these are upgradable to cobblestone, much stronger than this normal stone. but I want to keep some spare. We wanted some spare flagstone to do repairs. Okay. Pop this there. Alright. So we're going to go out and we're going to get a little bit more wood. Okay, and we're back. I did a little bit of gathering off screen because I realised the sheer volume of wood that I would need to build 75 spikes. So I estimated we'll need around 60 spikes to completely surround our base. Now, as you can see, these are wooden stakes. Very cheap to make, but quite effective. These are going to be a fantastic deterrent in case we get some zombies attacking us during the night. And yeah, we should have enough to add one full layer around the base with a couple of extra spares in the morning, because zombies will always attack during the night. Even if they don't actually see me, they'll run into the spikes when they come through in hordes. So they may just be running through, and they'll run into these, and they'll end up the spikes, of course, will wear down over time. So we will have to periodically replace these, and that's fine. They're not very expensive to make, but to get a heap of them, obviously, it took me a majority of the day. So yeah, did that off camera. Didn't want. I think you've seen enough of me chopping down trees in this episode. So we're just going to finish off by getting rid of this other tree in the way. We're going to drop a spike there. We've also got our fences, the barbed wire fences, but as you recall, they've got a far better application as a mobile defense that I'll carry with me in case I run into a pack of dogs or some more of the dangerous enemies that you can find out on the road. So what we're doing now is we're just filling in these frames. And this is going to be a means by which I'll get into the base. There we go. So to make this even easier, what we can do is make ourselves a ramp. We'll do that now. We need 3 of those. Actually 4. And as you can see, we'll be able to run up this ramp fairly easily. Put an overhang here. And bam, we're good. Now, of course, I'm going to put a door here just to give us a little bit of a hiding spot from the Zeds. So at the moment, we aren't going to waste any resources on a metal door. The wooden door will be sufficient. There we go. One upgrade will just make the door a little bit stronger. And there we go. So we've actually got our first base build complete. We've got a 1.5 story building, so we weren't able to complete the second story on the building. But for day 3, having a base of this type will give us good defense against the zombies. Now, the defense is only effective if we can keep ourselves well hidden. So another aspect we're going to need to do is add a little bit of light to the situation. So one thing is that lights do attract zombies, so we need to be very careful. Drink our tin cans. And we've got enough here to hopefully build ourselves a cooking pot. There we go. So we'll actually need an anvil for that. So we're using some of the metal we found today. We'll chuck some more metal in. And the extra stone that we've got here. All of these stuff, all useful. We'll refill our empty tin cans later on. We've got enough to make it through the night. And we're looking good. So our last thing that we need to do is make some extra torches. So we've got some animal fat here. We'll need a little bit of cloth. So we'll take some of our cotton and we'll make some cloth. 2 should be enough. And we'll make some torches. Now, as I mentioned, these do attract zombies, so we don't want to be smashing these down everywhere, but we of course we do need some light. So we actually start with one torch. I don't want to put this up here, it might attract attention. We'll put it down low, down here. That shouldn't be too bad. And one on the lower level. There we go. So that shouldn't be too bad. Having too many torches is not a good thing. We're going to start building out our underneath the base as well. So this is very uneven, of course. I want to try and dig all of this out. And we'll probably do all of this off screen, but just to give you a bit of an idea of what we need. Now I can hear a zombie outside, so we're going to be very quiet. I can hear them passing by outside. We haven't been detected, but they've actually, you can see the spikes doing their job. That zombie ran into the spike and got themselves wrecked. So, all good. So what we'll do is we're going to open up our storage chest. Pop down our block. And we're looking good. So what we've got here is a genuine starter build for a base. This is going to be good. Oh, and there is actually one final touch I wanted to add to make this a true base. And we need to put down our land claim block. Now in a multiplayer game, this makes our base harder for other players to damage and destroy. But in our case, its main use is to allow us to move our... We'll be able to move our items and tools around. There we go. So this is just basically a floor for our base. Second floor. Now one last tip at night, we want to make sure we don't make too much noise. Upgrading these frames does make a lot of noise, so I'll actually stop if I hear any zombies through the night. And that's it. I'm going to finish this floor. I'm also going to head down to the bottom floor. I'm going to dig out as much of this as I can and fill in these holes, put in a proper floor, and hopefully we'll be ready for the next day. In the next episode, I'm going to be doing a food run. So we're going to go and try and hunt down some animals, and we're also going to go and try and do a bit of looting. I really want to try and find some things like a cooking pot. We can make one out of metal, but I'm going to hold off on that to try and see if I can loot one. They are pretty easy to find. But yeah, one thing is for certain, we only have enough food for probably about another day or two. We're going to need to probably go to the desert or probably have a bit of a loot run in town. And we'll be ready for the 7-day horde. So hopefully you can join me for the next episode, when we'll do a bit more expansion of our base, a bit of hunting for food, and a bit of preparation for the horde. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, if you got some useful information, please leave me a like, leave me a subscribe if you feel so inclined, and comments are always welcome. Until next time, Skill Incarnate out.